What's up, guys? So, I'm going to just go through kind of like a review of the Raiders Browns game. I'm going to start doing these like every week, probably, I guess not next week because there won't be a game. Maybe I'll think of something to talk about then. Um, but I just want to kind of start doing more stuff about the Browns on here. So, this was the first thing that came to mind for that. So, I'll start with offense. The Browns offense on Sunday just did not work at all. Like, I don't know that the game planning or whatever was necessarily terrible. I don't know if there's much you could do to plan around that kind of weather, because obviously the wind was a huge problem. But first things first, I mean, you can't put this one on Baker, that's for sure. Like, look at how many drops there were. That's ridiculous. I think the Jarvis one is questionable, especially if you're going to count the Renfro TD, which really doesn't make sense. A lot of officiating didn't really make sense in that game. It was actually really bad against the Browns, but you can't put yourself in a position where that matters because sometimes games aren't going to be refed well. So I can't really use that as an excuse as much as it sucks that it went that way. But yeah, I'm not. And I really like. I watched some news and stuff, and I haven't seen people being too tough on Baker. Like even Colin Coward was kind of nice about it, because I don't think you can blame that one on Baker at all. I feel like he played all right. There was obviously a couple bad balls. He threw that high one over Njoku, which he's lucky somebody wasn't back there, honestly. But that was gonna happen no matter what with that weather. And overall, I really just don't think he was throwing that bad. I remember at least four drops, if not more. And you're just not going to get anything moving when stuff like that's happening constantly. Especially when like Jarvis is dropping balls. Like we pay Jarvis too much money for him to keep dropping balls because he dropped one out in the open too, not just the touchdown which he dropped, then caught again, and I guess didn't possess it enough. The running game just still not been able to work without Nick Chubb. I don't know if that's a function just of Nick Chubb because Kareem Hunt is not bad, and I mean you could see yesterday he was breaking tackles, he was running decently. Um, I think it would have gone better probably if we had the ball more. Uh, their defense was not on the field very much, so when they controlled time of possession so much, I think that kind of hurts how well your run game's gonna work because they're not tired. Um, and I think that's part of the problem there, but it just really hasn't worked since Nick Chubb's been gone. I don't know if that's a function of him more or Wyatt Teller being out more or what. I guess we'll just have to see. Hopefully, both of them are back after the bye week because we definitely need some help in the running game. It's not terrible. I mean, we got 100 yards, but like Dearness Johnson, everybody kind of expected him to show up more, and it seems like Kareem Hunt's been out there almost the entire game, most games, and that game for sure was a function of not having the ball that much. But Dearness Johnson really hasn't done much, and he got outran by Baker yesterday. So I mean, when Baker's running the ball six times, it's never really a great thing. That's not what you want to see. That's not what we have Baker for. I mean, he got it done at least. He averaged 5 yards a run. But still, um, just got to possess the ball more, man. We could not convert on third down. We were 3 out of 10 on third down. Like, you're not going to win that way, especially not when the Raiders are like 10 out of 16 on third and fourth down. We could not get off the field, dude. It was so bad. But yeah, not having OBJ hurts you really bad that game. I know a lot of people were saying that they think the Browns will be better without OBJ. Well, that's not a good first outing there. Which I guess technically last week could have been counted as the first game because Odell was out for most of that game. But still, that was not a good outing there. And a lot of that was a product of the weather too. But us not having Odell, they were loading the box. And Nick Chubb is actually probably the best running back in the NFL against a loaded box. So not having Nick Chubb in there loading the box like that, Kareem does not do as good in that situation as Nick Chubb. So that's just a bad combo when you don't have somebody to take the top off you. We need an athlete like Odell to do that. And There's trade deadlines. What, tomorrow? I cannot believe the Browns haven't done anything. Like, we were in a position 5-3 to try and get to the playoffs, and we haven't done anything. We picked up what, one dude I've never heard of off the Lions on a waiver. Why are we not traded for someone? Uh, the Bengals are like actively trying to get rid of John Ross, I'm pretty sure. And that's all we need is a fast person. Now, granted, John Ross isn't the best ever. He's got a lot of drops, um, from what I understand from talking to Bengals fans. And I've watched him a couple times and seen him drop balls, but I haven't watched him enough to know. But Bengals fans say he's got a lot. Um, but even Bengals fans kind of wonder why he doesn't get used. So, like, the Bengals are trying to get rid of him, go get John Ross, just to have him out on the field sometimes to have him run a route over the top. Every once in a while, he's going to get open enough to get a ball, and either way, having that speed option just forces people to not sit there and load the box against Kareem Hunt. Hopefully, when Nick Chubb comes back, that will remedy that a little bit. But we're not going to be able to win in playoff games without having some sort of better deep threat than we do right now, unless Donovan Peoples-Jones somehow starts becoming that. But yeah, we'll see how that plays out. He was pretty quiet this game, and he didn't even have a single catch. So who knows how that's going to go. That could have just been because of the weather, too. We just need to see more about what's going on without Odell, I guess, to know for sure. But I have a feeling that's going to be a real problem based on how the Raiders' defense played against us yesterday without him being out there. As for defense, this defense, and I mean, if you were paying attention before, like, we gave up a lot of points even when we were winning games. So, like, this defense is just bad. I mean, it's just bad. And it's way worse than it should be when you've got someone like Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward on your team. More people just have to step up. Larry Ogunjobi looked like he was doing that at the beginning of the year, and it hasn't really as much now here lately. And some other people got sacks today. Olivier Vernon got 2, actually, which was pretty surprising. But, like, it's so inconsistent. Nobody else had sacks on the entire team except for Olivier Vernon. Like, we need him to show up more than one game where nobody else is showing up, so it just doesn't matter anyway. And, like, that's another position where we should have picked someone up. We should have picked up a defensive lineman or a safety before this trade deadline. It doesn't make any sense why you wouldn't when you're trying to go to the playoffs. I just don't get it. Like, everybody can see Sandejo's bad. He didn't do terrible this game, but he did get burnt at one point, I'm pretty sure. And he's just not super good. When you're not getting enough pressure, you need better coverage for obvious reasons. So they need to remedy one of those problems. And, I mean, you could get a linebacker, which is what they've been trying to do this whole season. I mean, look at how many different linebackers we've picked up and stuff all of a sudden. Because, you know, Malcolm Smith and B.J. Goodson are out there, and we didn't have either one of them before this year. And they just get this dude from the Lions now. So, like, they keep trying to fill the problem with more linebackers, I guess. I don't know, but it's definitely not been working. It's not like linebackers have been getting us pressure. So they're going to have to do something, or this defense is just not going to be good enough to win a game in the playoffs. It's just not. When there's like a 8-play window in the second quarter where Myles Garrett didn't play for a single play, and I was sitting there having a heart attack because it's like they can't afford to take him out that often, and it obviously shows how bad our pass rush is when he isn't out there. So, like, you immediately think he's hurt. And, I mean, there goes your whole defense if Myles is hurt at that point. Like, it just can't be that sort of a situation where we have to rely on Myles that bad, and they should have got some of the Texans suck. Go get J.J. Watt. Like, the Texans are terrible. They can't honestly think they're going to go to the playoffs. If I were them, I would trade somebody like that because you're going to be able to get picks for J.J. Watt. And he's getting older. You're not going to have him for much longer. So, like, you might as well get picks and draft somebody young to replace him with your good draft picks you're going to get because they don't need a quarterback. They got Deshaun fucking Watson. So like I don't know. They need to do something though. So try and do that. But there's got to be somebody else you can get that's more serviceable, or at least gives you enough depth that you can take Miles out and give him a break so he's not so tired by the fourth quarter and useless at that point. And then they're not going to be so bad that they're not, that it's, like having nobody out there. Right now, who we have, like Porter Gustin's not getting sacks. How many sacks does Porter Gustin even have for the entire season? You know what I mean? One? No, zero. Like, you're not. If you got people that you're regularly putting in that have zero sacks for the whole year, you're not. You can't take Miles out enough at that point. Adrian Claiborne has 2 sacks for the entire year. Sheldon Richardson 2.5. Like, Miles Garrett has more than all these people combined at this rate. Larry Ogunjobi 0 for the entire. Like, Miles Garrett legit has more than the whole rest of these people combined. We gotta do better on third downs. They ran like a draw play on like a 3rd and 18 and got it, dude. Because nobody can tackle. Like, if you're giving up draw plays late in the game to 3rd and 18s and letting them convert, I think they might have been a half a yard short, and then they got it on the next play, actually, because it did get measured and they brought it back a little bit. But still, like, you can't let 17 yards go on 3rd and 18, 17 and a half yards go to a running play, dude. Like, that said that we forced them to punt once. I don't even remember that. It had to be in the 4th quarter. It was, actually. I do remember it now. How do we force one punt? Like, in that weather? The defense is just not going to do it. Like, this is not a 5-3 defense. The offense has just carried them without getting turnovers to get the offense back on the field. We are going to lose games when we don't have turnovers, which we did not have this game. So, like, anytime you don't see turnovers happening, we're in huge trouble. Huge trouble. So, hopefully they make some sort of trade move here before the deadline's over, and they can fix that, because the offense, whatever, like I said, I'm not super worried about Baker. He played all right that game. He didn't throw any interceptions, at least considering the circumstances and the weather. That was definitely a possibility. So I really think we just need to do something on defense. And the fact that we're all sitting here watching the Steelers just got a linebacker, and like there's a defensive end that people were talking about going around, Kerrigan or something like that. I've heard a bunch of people talking about J.J. Watt. The Ravens just got Yannick Ngakoue, like Everson Griffin went somewhere. All these people are moving around. We've done nothing. Since we got like Malcolm Smith a while ago, like we gotta do something. And if we don't, it's not gonna be good unless the secondary or the defensive line really steps it up after the bye week. It's not gonna be good. It's really not gonna be good. So we'll see what happens. I'll probably make some sort of video next week, maybe just a preview for the Texans game. I don't know. And then I'll do another one of these for every game after the bye week for the rest of the season, and then hopefully into the playoffs if we get to that point. So thanks for listening, guys. Have a good night, and go Browns.